Did anybody see the pitch that Dr. Fauci threw out last night? So anyway, it was a pitch that was thrown before the Nationals-Yankees season opener. And, you know, a lot of very famous people, presidents, celebrities, or just everyday people that are great people that do a lot of good things, maybe people in our military, men and women in uniform, police officers. You know, the ceremonial first pitch is a great thing. I think it's really cool. And you even see it here in Las Vegas. When I used to go to 51 games, now Aviators, I used to go to plenty of those games, and I would be going to those games right now if there was minor league baseball going. But we see it at every level, and it's a lot of fun. You know, it's really cool. I think they do that at the college level as well. It's just a great way of honoring somebody. It's a ceremonial first pitch. You know, they do it all the time. But I remember, you know, when I go back to some of the famous first pitches, I think of George W. Bush. And again, I wasn't a big George W. Bush fan as a president. But I remember post 9/11 when he threw out that first pitch, there was something great about him throwing a strike, right? George W. Bush is a baseball guy. You remember his work with the Texas Rangers. Bush has been around sports his whole life. He's a baseball guy, and he's a little younger than Dr. Fauci, obviously. But I remember when Bush threw that first pitch, you want someone in power to throw a strike. Is it the end of the world? Am I making a big deal out of it? Probably. But to me, it's a show of strength. What? And I understand that Dr. Fauci is up there in age. I get that. But I want to play the audio first.
He's 78 years old, but he does jog 2 miles every morning. So he's a very physically active 78-year-old man.
I want to play the audio for you. And the reason why I brought up George W. Bush is because he threw a strike. And it was a nice moment for the country. I thought when the president throws the strikes and it's a nice little fastball, it's a good moment for the country. So this is the announcer reacting. But before you hear the announcer, let me just say, Dr. Fauci was about 30 feet to the left of the plate. He definitely flattened the curve. There's no question about that. So here's the announcer broadcasting it live after Dr. Fauci threw out that first pitch at the Nationals-Yankees game. Have a listen to this.
Well, Dr. Anthony Fauci now, not in front of a large crowd, but certainly in front of a national television audience. I would have thought, given just how big a fan he is of baseball, that would have been something. But look, the man has been so busy, that is not something he probably has had time to practice.
A lot of people are putting some cheap shots in there. I think it was Chris Cuomo yesterday. He was teary-eyed. Chris Cuomo, so the nonsense that, find somebody on Fox News that would be laughing and teary-eyed going after, Donald Trump. Exactly. They should have played that, actually.
Oh, my.
After the pitch, they should have played that audio.
That was the worst thing I've heard in a long time.
It sounded like one of your farts, by the way, that I listened to about 8 times a day. But anyway, that was the announcer reacting.
My farts are rhythmic, Brian.
Let's go back to Dr. Fauci. By the way, he's 79, not 78.
Oh, okay. I apologize.
And Fauci's up there in age, so maybe we give him a little bit of slack. But, it would have been nice to have seen him throw a strike.
I mean, Brian, he shot-putted it. He shot-putted the baseball from the mound. It was 6 feet to the left, and it was 20 feet short.
That's what Stormy Daniels said about Donald Trump. He shot-put as well.
By the way,
cost him $120,000.
As far as presidents being good at throwing baseballs, Donald Trump actually was quoted by his high school coach that he could have played professional baseball as a pitcher. And a bunch of his classmates, his teammates,
what about his bones?
Said he threw about 80 miles an hour.
I heard he had bones.
So when Donald, and he's actually throwing out a pitch, I believe on August 15th, when Donald Trump throws out his pitch, it's going to be a nice strike. He was also playing catch with Mariano Rivera yesterday on TV, and he's got a pretty decent form when he throws the ball there too. So I expect it to be very George Bush-esque and to be a show of strength and power and a strike when President Trump does. And he's also he's thrown the first pitch before. I don't believe he was president when he did it, and it was a strike as well.
Well, I agree. I mean, when I look at Donald Trump and his body right now, I think nothing but strength and athlete. Hold on.
The best part about Fauci is that he was actually seen in the stands. He was seen in the stands with his mask down and not social distancing, so that was kind of exciting too. There's a picture that's circulating the internet of him hanging out with a couple of people in the stands, like within 6 or 7 inches of each other.
Well, I try to have,
and his mask is down. And you know what, Fauci, the way that he shot-putted that pitch, it was probably the worst opening pitch in Major League Baseball league history. But it was still twice as accurate as his COVID-19 predictions have been. So,
how long did it take you?
Pretty impressive. Fauci.
How long did it take you to think of that one? I try to have a little bit of fun here,
I'm having fun too. I'm having fun.
Hold on a second.
I can't have fun.
Hold on a second.
You can have fun. I can't have fun. I understand.
If I can finish my statement, please. Thank you. If you could let me talk for 10 seconds, that would be very appreciated. Thank you. I don't think that's asking too much. I try to have a little bit of fun with Dr. Fauci and mock him a little bit, and I want you to do the same. And then you go the serious route and say he wasn't wearing a mask in the stands and this and that. Can't we just have a little bit of fun without you seriously going after this man? Can any Republican just have a little bit of fun? Like, by the way, like they did on CNN yesterday. They had fun. They made fun of him a little bit. But you know what they didn't do? They didn't say, you know what he didn't do? He wasn't wearing a mask in the stands, and he wasn't doing this, and he wasn't doing that. Can't we just have a little fun and enjoy it a little bit?
Anthony Fauci has been preaching how everyone has to wear a mask.
Okay.
And then he doesn't do it. It's more hypocrisy, Brian.
Speaking of hypocrisy, if you'd like to go there, would you like me to bring up Donald Trump and his history of the mask wearing, saying that he didn't feel like wearing a mask?
First of all, Brian, we were making fun of masks back in March. We were making fun of...
We're not the president of the United States.
We were making fun of people that were wearing masks in March.
We are talk show hosts, local talk shows.
The Surgeon General came out and said masks aren't necessary. Anthony Fauci on multiple occasions came out and said masks aren't. There was a mixed message that came from people that were not Donald Trump.
Let me explain.
Had masks been considered... And right now, you can get fined. You can go to jail for 6 months in the state of Indiana for not wearing a mask.
Okay, so
we've gone from masks are not necessary to they're only necessary for healthcare workers to they're necessary for everybody to now if you don't wear one you are going to go to jail.
So now let me respond.
And there's been mixed messages from the start. And had that message been consistent and masks actually work, everything will be open and deaths will be down a lot.
All right,
but that was not the case, Brian.
Okay, so let me respond now.
Okay,
you have zero credibility when you're going to talk about Dr. Fauci and his inconsistencies with the mask, but you don't think Donald Trump has done anything wrong. And the reason why I say that, I know you want to interrupt me again. The reason why I say that is because a couple months ago, it was Dr. Fauci and everybody in his staff saying that we should all wear masks. Guess who wasn't wearing a mask at that time? Donald Trump. And even Mike Pence going into certain facilities where he should have been wearing a mask. He didn't wear a mask. So if you're going to put some blame on Dr. Fauci or anyone else for what was said 5 or 6 months ago, you better put some blame on the President of the United States because he did not show leadership. Regardless of what Mr. Douchey says on Fox News, the President has not shown leadership when it comes to mask wearing.